Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting live on Sunday morning at 7:38 a.m. It is April 10th, 2022. And yeah, I got a busy day today. I got a 3-year-old birthday party of my daughter. And so I'm trying to hurry up and get this show done before everybody wakes up. That's such a dad thing to do, to wake up before everybody in the house and try to do an entire day's worth of stuff in that little window of time. It's just a time. Usually, this is my time in the morning before work, before life, to be able to reflect on cryptocurrency and life, and just to think about a lot of the stuff going on in the crypto world, because I'm on this journey where I'm learning a little bit each day, and this is my time to just research some of this stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to be talking about a lot of times on these shows, and I just kind of just let it happen. And yeah, I've been doing this since October 24th, 2020, and this is my video blog, aka Brain Dump. And yeah, I'm not shilling anything. I'm not sponsored by anybody, and this is definitely not financial advice. So anyway, let's move along here now. Let's go over to the CoinGecko screen. All right, let me switch it over. Okay. It looks like the stream might be kind of rough, so my apologies for that. All right. So let's take a look at the CoinGecko, see what we have going on here. So we have Bitcoin at 42,678, a little bit lower than it's been for the past week or so. We have Ethereum at $3,251.40. Binance 424.41. I'm ignoring the stable coins. XRP 75 cents. Everything's down in the red a little bit. Solana's down pretty bad at 16%, and Terra is as well, down 18%. Cardano down 10%, Avalanche down 13%, and Polkadot down 14%. So yeah, man, those are some pretty big jumps. If you're coming from the stock market, that looks disastrous, but that's just another day in crypto. So Near Protocol's up 13.2%. And good thing I've been bullish on Near lately and been buying some of that. Let's see what else. Polygon down 12%, Cosmos down 14%, Litecoin down 10%, Chainlink down 11%. Let's see what else is kind of worth mentioning. Okay, well, all right, so I think I'm pretty good. Axie Infinity down 22%. Okay, and Decentraland down 12%. Theta Network down 14%. And the Sandbox down 14.5%. Okay, enough of that. I want to take a look at everything's kind of lagging here. So I want to take a quick look at Rocketpool, RPL. And I've been bullish on Rocketpool ever since November of 2020 when I first bought it. I haven't really been dollar cost averaging. I bought it one time. I spent like a little, about $100 on it, or maybe about $60. I bought it at around $2 a piece, and I bought about 30 of them. So I've just been kind of just letting them sit there, and it's just the way it rolls. Sometimes with a token, you research it and you get all excited about it, and you buy it, and then it just kind of just sits in your wallet after that. But I'm glad I have, because now it's like worth like $30 a pop. So not a bad little profit for a small, tiny little investment. But anyway, now that we have the merge happening, I've been seeing a lot of talk about Rocketpool, and I've been seeing it in the talk in alignment with Lido token. And if you listen to Bankless HQ, their podcast with Ryan and David, you will probably hear a lot of advertisements about Lido because they are sponsored by Lido. But they don't dog on Lido's competitors. They're pretty fair and open, I think. And I've been Bankless HQ. I follow their newsletter, and let me just go ahead and stop this stream and continue this recording because the stream's not working out and everything's slow. But okay, so Bankless HQ puts out a newsletter. I get that newsletter, and the recent newsletter talked about Lido and Rocketpool side by side. I didn't really know what Lido was. I just knew it was a way to stake your Ether. And with the upcoming merge, that's been a very important topic to come up. And let's see here. Okay, so over the past couple weeks, we've been talking a lot about the merge. This will be the biggest event of the year in crypto. It cannot be overstated. How do you capture upside opportunity? Of course, one of the best ways to get price exposure to the merge is to maximize your exposure to Ethereum, which you can do in a variety of ways: staking ETH, farming ETH, and leveraging ETH. There's another angle that Bankless hasn't fully covered: staking protocols. And so it requires you 32 Ethereum to stake directly in Ethereum. And that's expensive, especially with Ethereum, as you saw, around $3,200. 32 times 32, 3,200 times 32 is a lot of money. And I don't have 32 ETH sitting around, and a lot of people don't. So there are other ways to enter. So there's another way that Bankless haven't fully closed: staking protocols. So by reducing the hardware requirements to participate in the network security, proof of stake dramatically lowers the barrier to entry to become a network validator. Sorta. It's not easy to be a validator, though. It requires a lot of hardware. For one, running a full node requires 32 ETH, over $100,000 at current rates. In addition, running a node requires a level of technical expertise that most people don't have. I mean, I have some decent technical chops, but I don't have those types of technical chops. And to address these challenges, we've seen a number of staking protocols that abstract away much of the complex technical complexity while also lowering the capital requirements even further. These staking protocols have already racked up billions, not millions, but billions in total value locked, and stand to grow massively as we continue to get closer to the merge. But does that make their tokens a good investment? All right, so then they break down the top two ones. I didn't realize that there were more than two. I knew that there was Rocketpool and Lido, and part of learning about these tokens is trying to learn which tokens are similar to each other, and there's a lot of various different types of tokens. Like you have stable tokens, you have stable coins, you have DeFi tokens, you have metaverse tokens, you have the bankers tokens, like Stellar and XRP and stuff like that. You have layer 1 tokens, like Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, Phantom and stuff like that. Then you have layer 2 protocols, which are built on top of layer 1 blockchains like Arbitrum and Optimism. Arbitrum doesn't have a token yet. I don't know if they are, but and then a Polygon and stuff like that. Those are layer 2 tokens. So there's all these different categories. So it's good to know which ones are kind of similar tokens. And Rocketpool and Lido are similar tokens. That's LDO and RPL respectively. But there's also all these others. There's Staker, there's Shared Stake, Staffy, Stakewise. I didn't know Cream was doing this. And there's Stakehound. So this is interesting to see. I only when I thought about indirectly staking your ETH via one of these protocols, I only thought of Rocketpool and then later on Lido, even though Lido came first. I did not know that. So I will get into this Bankless one, but first I want to get into the crypto Pragmatist. This kind of sums it up a little better, and then Bankless goes into more detail. So the crypto Pragmatist first sums up the merge. And if you don't know what the merge is, Ethereum has been a proof of work blockchain, layer 1 blockchain. It'll still remain a layer 1 blockchain, but it's moving to proof of stake. And those are just two different consensus mechanisms. So let's read here. The merge, Ethereum's transition from proof of work to proof of stake, is coming soon with the launch of Q2 of 2022, maybe Q3. The other newsletter said possibly Q3. Probably Q3, knowing the pattern that I've seen on a lot of these protocols. They always never anticipate that it'll be done sooner rather than later. So while other protocols and products in cryptocurrency have been able to iterate and come out with new features quickly, Ethereum has been steadfast and deliberate in its slow progress towards a sustainable and scalable architecture for their blockchain. But the transition from proof of stake to proof of work isn't just for show. It provides a whole host of new bullish dynamics to understand and invest around. What are they investing around? Predictability of block times, security of the network, supply-demand dynamics, and energy efficiency. I mean, there are billions and billions and billions of dollars locked into Ethereum, and the market cap is really high. So they don't want to screw this up. They are building this airplane while they're flying. And so it is taking a little longer. Not as long as Cardano, but yeah, ooh, I don't even want to go in there. But anyway, when the merge is complete, supply will become deflationary, implicitly meaning that Ethereum as an asset or ETH as an asset or ETH, like some people. I know I'm going to say ETH, okay? Just for clarity, I'm just going to say ETH, not ETH. You know, there's some purists out there who say that it's Ethereum, ETH instead of ETH. I don't care. It is what it is. It's ETH, okay? All right, so implicitly meaning that ETH as an asset will be more valuable per token. There's just less to go around. Overall, it's universally agreed to be a positive catalyst for the network. But besides stacking ETH, what opportunities exist for retail users? Today, we're going to dive into that and more, equipping you with this revolutionary update to the so-called world computer, and we'll get into why the merge makes us more bullish than ever on Ethereum. All right, so in this report here, they assume that you know the difference between proof of work and proof of stake, and I'm not really going to go into that here. All right, so they've had this thing called the beacon chain going for a while after a hard fork in 2020 that happened. And the beacon chain is the beginning of that proof of stake chain. And it was running alongside the proof of work chain. So the Ethereum Merge is a hard fork that moves consensus on all blocks from the current proof of work chain, because you can mine on your computer. You know, if you have some GPUs, it won't give you much. I've tried it on this computer, but you can mine proof of work with your computer power right now, Ethereum. And it's pretty easy to do. I have 2 GPUs on this computer. It gives me, a little smidgen, like 0.01 Ethereum every like 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. So it's barely worth it. But, with the more powerful computers, you can get more. All right. So anyway, the Ethereum Merge is a hard fork that moves consensus on all blocks from the current proof of work chain to the already running proof of stake layer called the beacon chain, launched at the end of 2020. The beacon chain has already been running in parallel with the Ethereum mainnet, with approximately 320,000 validators running nodes and more than 10 million staked ETH. So that's a lot for just, because people are staking their Ethereum onto this new beacon chain, and they can't pull that Ethereum off until everything is fully merged. And this has been going on for 2 years now. So those people that staked at the very beginning have had that disposable Ethereum at the time to just let it be locked in there for 2 years, and they can't do anything with it yet. So it's a long-term investment. But why is this change even necessary? Well, the switch to proof of stake consensus in the beacon chain is a step closer towards the long-term Ethereum vision, which focuses on security, requires a minimum of 16,384 validator nodes. Bitcoin right now sits around like 14 to 16,000 nodes, I believe, and will eventually be able to be run by the PC equivalent hardware. So you can no longer mine anything with a PC with a GPU and not even really one ASIC or just a few ASICs. You have to have an entire warehouse to mine Bitcoin. And like I said, with Ethereum, I have 2 GPUs on my computer and it barely gives me pennies. The proof of work, it takes a lot of computers to mine, and therefore, regardless of the energy usage, it just kind of undemocratizes things. It makes it harder for the average Joe to be able to mine stuff, and therefore it creates a ceiling to where people, the average Joe can't sit there and participate in the network, and that's a problem because it's supposed to be completely democratic, I believe. So anyway. So the new nodes will be able to be run just by PCs, okay? And then sustainability, proof of stake uses roughly 99% less energy than the proof of work consensus. And then scalability, 64 shard chains in the future, and current scaling solutions will allow for up to 100,000 transactions per second on the Layer 1 network. That's a lot. Right now, I think, it's like maybe, I don't know, is it 14? It's some low number, not 100,000. All right, so anyway, understanding staking. The fundamental shift for the merge is a shift of the blockchain from proof of work, which uses miners to power the network, to proof of stake, in which validators who hold Ethereum run the chain. In exchange for running the network, they receive a percentage on their Ethereum. Miners get paid out in ETH. Now stakers will get paid out in ETH as well. To become a validator for the beacon chain, users must deposit that 32 ETH, worth around 90K or so, on what's called Launchpad, and it prices out a large majority of the retail users. Another obstacle to become a validator is liquidity. Staked ETH until the merge can't be sold, so you're in for the long haul. And so these obstacles have created space for services like Lido and Rocketpool to enter the market, where users who earn their interest on their ETH but don't. That's okay. They have some kind of grammar issue going on there. So Lido and Rocketpool are simple. You deposit the ETH, the protocol stakes the ETH to a validator for you, and you receive a liquid, sellable wrapped token representing a right to that staked ETH. So you get a token that represents your position in that, and then the staked ETH accrues interest, and you can sell the wrapper, wrap token that indicates your position in that pool on various DeFi protocols outside of that across the Ethereum protocol, like on Uniswap or whatever. Okay, so anyway, so Rocketpool is currently the crypto pragmatist's favorite option as for staking ETH, as it caters to both small retail participants as well as people who want to run their own nodes. So for investors, all right, you can get Rocketpool Ethereum, the RETH, which is you stake your ETH there, and you get RETH in return, which signifies your position in that pool. So you get that by staking Ethereum into Rocketpool or buying. You can buy it on the open market, right, on Uniswap or whatever. Since RETH accrues interest from staking, the exchange rate for RETH to ETH is constantly increasing. So RETH gets more and more valuable relative to ETH. Accrued staking rewards aren't paid out until RETH is redeemed. This provides a tax benefit for long-term users and a simple way for staking rewards to accrue. And then running a pool, a Rocketpool for validators. Running a node through Rocketpool is unique and more accessible than being a Solar Staker through Launchpad. Like I said, Solar Staker, you have to have 32 ETH. On Rocketpool, you can set up a node by depositing 16 ETH, so half of that, so about 45 to 50,000 bucks, which is coupled with 16 staked Ethereum. If you have less than, you can stake with 0.01 ETH. Which is like what, $60 or so, and you put it in there, and then you're in there with a bunch of other people with small amounts of ETH, and when that totals up to 16 ETH, then it couples with somebody wanting to run a node with their 16 ETH, and then it makes what's called a mini pool, and so that's the 32 ETH needed to stake. Anyone can set up a node by depositing 16 ETH, which is coupled with 16 staked ETH to create a validator called a mini pool. Mini pools are run by Rocketpool smart contracts and thus are completely decentralized. All right. Okay. That's why they like Rocketpool. It has 973 node operators, so it's pretty decentralized. And if a node operator is compromised, the RETH liquid stakers are protected with the RPL token. So there's some insurance in there. So if the node is slashed due to bad behavior, so if a node in a network doesn't perform the way it should and it's malicious or it's just like offline or whatever, then it gets slashed and you lose your money. If you have your Ethereum staked on that node, well, there's the RPL token, which is a utility of it that acts as insurance that you won't lose your money just because your node that you have it staked on is acting bad. So anyway, Lido, the competitor, it's a little more straightforward than Rocketpool. Lido is a protocol for simple liquid staking deposits into staked Ether that has the same function as RETH. So when you deposit your Ethereum into Lido, you get this STETH, the staked ETH back that represents your position on Lido. So one of the potential advantages Lido may enjoy over Rocketpool is the amount of Ethereum staked. So it's a lot bigger, which is north of 2.7 million versus Rocketpool's 150,000 ETH. Additionally, there are more DeFi apps that use staked ETH in their protocol that allow you for more yield-enhancing opportunities, although we believe this advantage will lessen over time as more apps adopt a variety of liquid ETH wrappers. So, and this ties into that the last episode I did talking about ERC 4626, I believe, was it? Yeah, 4626 or 4676. Was it 4626 or 4676? Either way, I think it's 4626. But this new ERC token that's coming out, 4626, standardizes these staked tokens, and like X Sushi and VBNT, and then all the staked Ether, and then RETH and stuff like that, because all these different staked protocols have different variations in code that make it not as composable, able to be plugged into a bunch of other different DeFi apps. And right now, staked ETH is used in a lot more DeFi apps than RETH is. but I believe with ERC 4626 coming out that it should universalize and standardize this to make it a lot easier for a lot of these, staked ETH and RETH tokens to be used in the wide world, ever expanding world of DeFi. And I think that's really cool. So Lido may have the leg up on this for right now. But now once ERC 4626 really comes into play, that's going to make it a wide open playing field for not only Rocketpool, but a lot of other different types of these staking pool tokens, that you get in return for staking your base token. So Lido works in a similar way, although rewards don't directly accrue to the token as with Rocketpool ETH. Staked ETH effectively functions just as a receipt. That's basically all it is. The way the way staked ETH works, you put ETH into Lido, you get staked ETH. Lido stakes ETH on your behalf, and you leave your staked ETH in the protocol, and it accrues interest in the form of more staked ETH tokens. And you can also wrap your staked ETH, which makes it function the same way as RETH. So Lido is basically a receipt. They are both governance tokens. So RPL is a governance token, and Lido LDO is a governance token, but RPL has the utility function that it acts as the insurance for those slash nodes, where Lido, the LDO token, is just purely a governance token, so it doesn't have a whole lot of utility. So the RPL token has that going for it. So anyway, the long-term stacker. In a world of quick altcoin flips and exciting ways to lose your money, and tedious route of bi-weekly ETH purchases can seem rather cumbersome and unsexy, but Ethereum is positioning itself to be the most efficient and secure blockchain solution for all use cases. Hence, at Crypto Pragmatist, we want to stack as much ETH as possible in preparation. Earning yield on the assets just a bonus. Sure, there's bigger upside in DeFi, but you want a relatively safe option. ETH is the way to go. Anyway, so let's move on to this Bankless HQ one and take a look at their take on it. So after years of development and anticipation, Ethereum's transition from proof of work to proof of stake is nearly complete, expected to be finally completed in late Q2 or Q3 2022. So they are a little more realistic about the actual merge date. There are numerous wide-reading implications that will come with a merge. For starters, it promises to reduce Ethereum's energy consumption by orders of magnitude, as the network will no longer require an energy-intensive and inefficient mining to secure. And here's a little diagram that's shown right here. Here's the Burj Khalifa, which is Bitcoin. The amount of energy uses ETH. Proof of work is like the Leaning Tower of Pizza, and then a screw. The height of a screw is Ethereum proof of stake. So anyway, that kind of puts it into perspective for you, I guess. The impact of the merge will also be felt at the application layer, that it is poised to catalyze the growth of Ethereum's liquid staking services. These, like Rocketpool and Lido. These protocols remove the opportunity cost of staking from users, as they enable holders to earn yields while still being able to deploy their assets throughout DeFi and the broader Ethereum community through the issuance of a derivative token. All right, so here's all these different staking options: Lido, Staker, Shared Stake, Stafi, Stakewise, Cream, Stakehound, Rocketpool. I didn't even know about all these. I didn't even really know what Cream did, but now I know, I guess. But Lido, look at this. This is all the orange here. It takes up a huge percentage, and then Rocketpool's up here at the top. Beep, beep, beep. So it's like, yeah. The stakes are incredibly high, as due to the high barriers of entry and the network effects from liquidity and integration, including staking, seems likely to become a winner-take-most market. Given that there is already 10.89 billion worth of ETH staked before the merge at a time when users cannot withdraw their assets, the sector seems poised to grow to tens, if not hundreds of billions in the coming years. So this is not to mention the burgeoning staking economies on the fast-growing networks such as Terra, Solana, and Avalanche. So Terra, Solana, and Avalanche are all doing this same thing too. Because Solana has some really high hardware requirements to be a validator. So yeah, this is kind of a lot of this are making it able for the average Joe Schmo like you and me to be able to enter this space, which I think is great. It democratizes it a little bit. So while early, the two largest players within this high upside are Lido and Rocketpool. Although these two protocols offer a similar product to their end users, they are vastly different in terms of their architecture, adoption, growth strategy, and the design of their native tokens. This begs the question, which one will win, right? Because everything has to be a contest. No, maybe they can both win, but not in the eyes of most people. This is always a VHS VHS versus beta conversation. To me, honestly, RPL seems more like the Betamax. It seems like the better version. It seems like, but LDO seems like the more popular one. We know how that turned out. So anyway, let's look at Lido and Rocketpool's architecture, see the differences and trade-offs. So Lido, for end users, Lido is a relatively straightforward protocol. An Ethereum or other L1 asset holder, because Lido has more than one blockchain, so it has multi-chain functionality, and Rocketpool does not. It's Ethereum only. So an ETH holder or other L1 asset holder can deposit their tokens to Lido's smart contract to receive staked ETH at a 1-to-1 ratio. Staked ETH is a derivative that represents a claim. You guessed. Staked ETH is a distributed claim on, you guessed, ETH that is distributed to validators. Staked ETH is a rebasing token that accrues inflation rewards along with transaction fees and can be used and traded like any other ERC20. And I'll go to rebasing tokens here in a little bit, because that was kind of threw me off. I didn't really know what rebasing was. I know what debasing is. It's like when your nickel gets a little bit thinner and thinner over time because the government wants to skimp on you. But rebasing, hold on, I'll get back into that. So this provides users with increased capital efficiency and utility, as it allows holders to earn staking yields while simultaneously being able to deploy their ETH across DeFi. So you can get this staked ETH token, you can get the RETH token, in exchange for your locked up Ethereum. And if you need some liquidity, if you need some cash, you can sell your staked ETH tokens and use it for whatever you want, or you can lock it up in another protocol and have that earn interest along with your ETH earning interest. There's a lot of things you can do with these tokens. And Lido is very flexible across a lot of different protocols. RETH, yes, but not quite as much as Lido. And like I said, with this ERC 4626 coming out, that will expand the opportunities for this type of utility. So when Beacon Train withdrawals are enabled post-merge, staked ETH will be redeemable for the underlying ETH. So although it is non-custodial, Lido is not a permissionless protocol. Rather, Rocketpool is a totally permissionless protocol. Rather, the underlying validators are selected through governance by the Lido DAO. So in order to be a validator on Lido, as opposed to Rocketpool, where you just have to have 16 ETH, or you can deposit your fractional amounts to total 16 ETH, anybody can do that on Rocketpool. But Lido, not so much the case. You have to be selected through governance by the Lido DAO. So you have to join their DAO, and you have to go, do the whole DAO thing, and then you have to go and make a proposal to be a validator. So the underlying validators are selected through governance by the Lido DAO, who in turn receive a share of the revenue from the staking. While this model enhances the protocol's scalability and minimizes complexity, and although the DAO has every incentive to act non-maliciously, it does pose a potential centralization vector by concentrating power among LDO token holders. So there is a certain amount of power concentrated right there. I guess that could kind of increase the value of the LDO token indirectly, because of the power that it accrues by being able to choose who the validators are rather than the RPL token. But I never even thought about that until just now. So Rocketpool, from a user's perspective, Rocketpool is like Lido. A user can deposit their ETH to receive RETH, a rebasing ERC20 derivative that represents a claim on the underlying staked ETH. So while Rocketpool differentiates itself from Lido through the process in which validators are selected, rather than leave the decision in the hands of token holders, the protocol is totally permissionless. Anyone can become a node operator in the network by creating that mini pool that I described. If you have 16 ETH, so to do so, a node operator is required to deposit that 16 ETH, half of the 32 ETH required to become a validator, while the remaining 16 ETH is sourced from all these little smaller user deposits, like 0.01 to up to 16 ETH, to less than 16 ETH. In addition, mini pool operators are required to stake 1.6 ETH worth of RPL tokens. So there's that utility, which is used as a backstop or insurance in the case of a major slashing incident. So if a node acts bad, you lose all your ETH, but you at least will be able to have that 1.6 ETH worth of RPL tokens right there to act as insurance in case that node happens to get slashed in the rare event, like probably as common as an airplane crashing, that it gets slashed. So Rocketpool's model aligns incentives between the protocol and the node operators by requiring them to stake RPL and minimizes trust assumptions by automating the process of joining the network. This comes at a cost of reduced scalability. Unlike Lido, which can perpetually distribute an unlimited amount of ETH to validators at any time, Rocketpool's growth is constrained by the 16 ETH requirement to join the network and dependent on a continual stream of new node operators coming online. While Lido can elect new validators at any time, Rocketpool's a little bit more vulnerable to the whims of the market and who really feels like, putting in 16 ETH, so the takeaway, while Lido and Rocketpool may feel identical for the end user, the two are drastically different under the hood when it comes to onboarding new validators to the network. While it comes at a cost of increased trust assumptions relative to Rocketpool, Lido's model is inherently more scalable and capital efficient, as validators are not required to match user deposits with their own stake of ETH. All right. Lido has experienced tremendous growth since its launch in December 2020, where Rocketpool was in November 2021, 11 months later or so. The protocol has accumulated more than 3.05 million ETH, more than 3,600 unique depositors, worth roughly $10.3 billion at current prices and accounting for roughly 28% of all the ETH staked on the Beacon chain. Within all the liquid staking services market, this accounts for 88.1% of all Ethereum, cementing Lido as the dominant player in the sector. Lido's success is also in part due to its pursuit of a multi-chain expansion strategy. Along with ETH, the protocol has liquid staking offerings for Luna, Sol, Kusama, and Matic. The native tokens, and so this diversification has led to the protocol accumulating $9.6 billion in deposits, with staked Luna as the largest liquid staking solution on Terra, with staked Sol holding the second spot on Solana. Lido has managed to establish incredibly deep liquidity for staked Ethereum on Curve, with more than 5.1 billion locked in the staked ETH pool. This not only increases the ease with which holders can swap back to pure ETH, but strengthens the token's peg and the protocol's network effect, establishing staked ETH as the largest liquid staking derivative. So I've mentioned before, you have to have 32 ETH to do a staking pool, and it's just locked in there for 2 years. That's only if you did that route. But if you use Lido or Rocketpool, you have tons of liquidity. You can be sitting there trading back and forth your staked tokens, borrow against them, sell them, or whatever you want to do. So you using these protocols, you have tons of liquidity and movement and action, and you can, you're not locked in for 2 years for life if you decide to change your mind. As such, Lido has managed to secure numerous integrations across DeFi, with staked ETH able to be used as collateral on money markets like Aave and Fuse, and to mint stablecoins such as DAI. DAI accepts the staked Ether as well. Not DAI Maker. Maker makes DAI, and then you have to stake your ETH to make DAI. So anyway, that's a whole other can of worms. Rocketpool launched in November 2021, 11 months after Lido, accruing north of 173,000 ETH, which is nowhere near Lido, but still significant. 571 million at current prices from more than 2,300 unique depositors. This works out to roughly 5% of the share of all liquid staked ETH. So 5 versus 88%, it's a big difference. A very distant second to Lido, but more than 2 times greater than the next closest competitor in Stakehound. Unlike Lido, Rocketpool has chosen not to pursue a multi-chain strategy. Rather, the protocol has chosen to focus exclusively on Ethereum. While this specialization may help the project entrench itself within this niche and endear itself to the Ethereum community, it ultimately limits Rocketpool's addressable market relative to its chief rival. And it makes me think about Uniswap and SushiSwap. Uniswap really is, pretty much, am I correct in that? Pretty much just on Ethereum and using Optimism as its layer 2 solution, where SushiSwap is expanding across a bunch of different types of blockchains and different layer 2 solutions. Which one will be the winner on that? I don't know. But SushiSwap, I think it has a leg up in that aspect as far as multi-chain capacity. For instance, due to its down here to token economics, although Lido has outstanding fundamentals, the token currently faces numerous headwinds in its quest to sustainably capture value. For instance, due to its lack of utility within the protocol, the only thing Lido does is governance. There's no natural demand for the token. In addition, due to being used to incentivize liquidity and pay bribes, the LDO token faces natural sell pressure from farmers and stakeholders seeking to lock in yields. The lack of demand drivers to counteract emissions suggests that the tokens may struggle to retain value when not facing these current narrative tailwinds with the merge. And then Rocketpool is used for governance. However, as previously mentioned, the token is used for slashing insurance, with node operators required to stake 1.6 ETH worth of RPL to participate in the network. So that gives it some inherent utility. That's good. This utility that provides utility for RPL and demand and ties the demand for growth for the token to the growth of the network. As more users deposit into Rocketpool and node operators come online, the greater amount of RPL will be required to be commensurately staked. This usage positions RPL as a commodity token with utility, albeit one with governance rights, rather than pure crypto native equity like LDO. The benefits of this utility helps blunt the inflationary pressure of RPL emissions that are paid out due to node operators to increase the returns, thereby making it more attractive to stake on the network. Okay, so I'm not going to go on with trying to define rebase tokens. I'm out of time. I hear the kids moving around upstairs, and this is going to be a big day with a big birthday party. So I'm going to call it quits here. Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to try to talk about rebase tokens and what they are in the morning. That's a huge topic in itself. But I hope this helped you to at least be able to distinguish between Lido and Rocketpool some. Give me a thumbs up if you like this type of stuff. I don't really know what a thumbs up does, except it may help the algorithm, whatever. I don't really pay attention to numbers and stats, but I'm really close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which will enable me to monetize and maybe get like $20 a month or something. I don't know. So anyway, yep. All right, man. I'm going to go back to the screen here and... you guys have a good day, man. Enjoy your Sunday. And don't focus too much on crypto stuff for the day. I'm going to turn off my crypto button in my brain for the rest of the day today. All right. Later. Oh, hold on. Okay. There. Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.